donor comes in, they meet with our receptionist, of course, to register. And we check their blood pressure, their temperature, their pulse. We take a drop of blood from their finger to make sure they have satisfied hemoglobin. And then this is our questionnaire. I don't know how similar it is to the questions that your groups ask, but all of this is before we take their blood. We're going to try to find the will this harm the donor taking a pint of blood? If so, of course, we don't want to do it. 2 is the blood going to be safe as possible for the patient. So all of this pre-screening is done. And of course, all of our donors are volunteers. We do not pay any donors. So, yeah, so we ask them all of us every time they come and visit us to make sure that nothing has changed since the last visit that we came. And then if one is the platelet apheresis machine. Platelets from the donor. Blood, how to, of course, we had a money bank before we bought this building, so we still have the
lockers.
We're
and
not keeping the blood in the vault.
vault.
We keep our storage of our materials in here just because we want to utilize every inch of space we can. So
okay.
And then back in here we have our testing lab and our component separation area. Testing area. And again, we have shifts of staff, so somebody is always here and doing the testing, preparing the units for completion. So then it comes here to do testing right now.
Before the
temperature pulse. All the infectious disease testing is done now. Red cells, plasma, or platelets. We also filter white cells from red cells. This is done while the testing is going on. So it's not completed testing yet, so it's not ready to be labeled and released yet. So we can label 42 as long as they remain refrigerated.
There's one in Pleasant Hill.
Oh, very good.
I need to sneak off.
We're going to slip in very quickly. And close the door behind you, please. So these are platelets that we took off of whole blood unit, and they are good for 5 days at room temperature. And then behind us are platelets that we gained from platelet apheresis. And so it's a much larger bag and is basically equivalent to 6 peek inside here.
That's fair.
See that they're in bins. Transport blood to the hospital when they are in need of the blood products. And of course we keep extras out in the van, and then this is the equipment. Oh, sure. This is our mobile blood drive unit. This is one of our U-Hauls that holds all the equipment necessary for hosting the drive. And then our staff members drive both in the van and pulls it. And we use a passenger car for transporting the staff. A couple passengers can drive in the front, but it holds more equipment. And so we are using these much more for our mobile blood drives. And then there are some facilities that don't have a that we can use. And I'm not sure if I can talk twice, but we'll go talk to people who are now on our call list. And we will call you if we are in need of your type of blood and schedule you into one of our from up here instead of the front desk. And that frees the front desk person to spend more time with the donor. Re-recruit them after back to their so that we can register the donor right into the computer system right then and there. And go out and recruit the church, the high school. But then, let's say a principal. Take staff in this situation instead of a volunteer like yourself, we have to do that. And we have finishing gifts that we give people. This is called Give for for life, and if somebody donates 4 times within a given period. Large quality assurance team. It starts with the actual selection of the room that we're going to use to do a blood drive. We actually go out, say principal's going to have a blood drive, they have a room they plan to use it in. We'll go to that room. Mm-hmm. We will draw a floor map of that room. We will check the temperatures, cleanliness, all of that. And that room has to be approved by our QA staff before it can be used.
Wow.
Make sure it's the right size to host what we want. And we will actually, on that floor chart, draw where we're going to put all of our equipment and make sure there's proper distance between them all. Then when it comes time to actually do the blood drive, we have all sorts of monitoring things going on during it. We test the temperature of the blood during the course of the blood drive. We are making sure, of course, that the histories are done properly and all that paperwork is reviewed afterwards to make sure everything is done the way it's supposed to be done. Basically, when the FDA comes to inspect us, they expect to see a lot of documentation because that is our proof of what we have done with that unit of blood. And they can come as often as they want, but they usually come at least once a year.
And then Jerry.
Yeah. Okay, we take their information about who they are and have them read some information about us before the blood donation and fill out their history, get the form filled out with their name and their address so that we can contact them again in the future. And she puts it all into the computer, and then that's downloaded into our main computer system at night so that we have that information. We can contact them again in the future. It's really great. And then we have a couple of private areas where they are taken to ask them the questions and give them any physical. And then over here for the actual bed, you see the beds are not quite as nice as the beds that we had to take out the back. We have a foldable one that we can take out of the patient. Joyce. You're getting the test tubes on where to come back to the laboratory. And it has, you have to think about that one for a minute. See, I'm not the only one talking.